Here's the trailer for Path of Exile Affliction.
Oho, Affliction. To jest do PoE 1, tak?
Moves in the mists.
Tak.
Something sinister.
PoE wygląda bardziej jak Diablo niż Diablo.
Plague and
Nie,
claw.
nie, to jest PoE 2. Czy to jest PoE 1?
Affliction spreads. It hungers for more.
No 1, dobra.
Tread lightly in the wildwood, which shifts and bites.
Ale jakie fajne lokacje, nie? Jaka gra światłem i cieniem jest zbudowana, super.
The ancient power of the Asmir.
Nowe ascendancje?
Beware the spirit.
Co to był Warlock? Jakaś nowa ascendancy? Ty!
In the heart of evil.
Co, oni nową klasę dodadzą? Czy nowe ascendancy?
Ready yourself. I will be waiting.
Liga będzie miała dla każdego tak jakby jeszcze jedną ascendancję? Czy o co chodzi? Jest gdzieś więcej info na ten temat? Powiedzcie mi. I 100 gemów, ale to jest 100 jakichś reedycji gemów, nie? Jakiś tak jakby... Wali czy innych tego typu rzeczy.
Sacred wisps, which beckon you to enter overgrown passageways that lead to the Viridian Wildwood.
Okej. I Sacred Grove mi się kojarzy, nie lubię Sacred Grove'u. Ale whatever.
You'll need to uncover the forest mysteries to put a stop to the source of the affliction.
To mega dobrze wygląda. Jakby asetów z PoE2 już używali powoli, nie? Ale to dobrze wygląda.
But be warned, the darkness is full of cursed monsters that emerge to kill you.
Ale fajny efekt, nie?
As you explore, you might see other types of wisps trapped inside the darkness. The Wildwood is trying to guide you towards clues about its affliction. Follow the trails of wisps by collecting them, and you may uncover many different secrets.
Tylko, że niech to będzie jednorazowe, bo to skończę glawy.
And all kinds of new encounters are lurking in the forest, just waiting for you to discover them. There are many rewards to earn for those brave enough to seek them.
Te 50 ataków na sekundę z PoE 1, nie?
When the sacred wisps run out of energy, they will return you back to where you came from.
Ja myślałem, że to jest stary jakiś
Any other type
Marauder
of wisps you've
Shockwave
collected
stary.
will return
Nie
with you
wiem,
to
to
the
wygląda.
past. These wisps, having been saved from the affliction, disperse into the environment and inhabit randomly chosen monsters in the area,
Takie Shockwave'a
increasing their
wysyła.
power and also their
Dark Souls
rewards.
1 moby.
The different types of wisps have different effects on monsters, and sometimes more than one type will inhabit a single monster,
A nienawidzę
making the
tej
fight even
lokacji.
harder and even more rewarding. If this happens to a boss, you could be in for a tough fight, but if you can overcome it,
Okej,
your efforts will
bossy
not be
mogą
in
dostać
vain.
takiego Afflictiona.
Primal
Okej.
wisps grant an item rarity bonus to inhabited monsters. Wild wisps grant an item quantity bonus, and vivid wisps cause them to drop currency items.
Okej.
If a monster gets all three types, they'll drop more items of a higher rarity and a lot of currency.
Opie.
While exploring the Wildwood, you might find some of the last few Asmiri wanderers
Co,
who
teraz
have
tylko
managed to
abisować
survive in the
currency,
forest
nie?
since it was
Jakoś.
cursed. Each of them have different survival specializations, and they are willing to teach you if you agree to help them defeat the source of the affliction, the King in the Mists. Choose which of the Asmiri that you will complete quests for to unlock one of 3 new Ascendancy classes, which you can have in addition to your regular Ascendancy class.
Okej, czyli to jest
Up to 8
ascendancy
points
na
for these classes
ascendancy,
are
okej.
unlocked as you complete more quests for the Asmiri you are
Ale
training
chcę
up.
zobaczyć, co tu jest.
The Warden of Eves can teach you to become a Warden of the Magi.
Pokażcie
Powerful
skille
class that
jakieś.
takes advantage of wilderness knowledge. A Warden of the Magi can learn to use tinctures which coat their weapon, granting
Yes,
various
są
powerful
tinctures.
effects. You can equip
Jakieś
tinctures in
buffy
your
nowe,
flash slots
okej.
and toggle them on and off at will.
Aha,
You
okej,
can only
oleje
have
na
one
broń,
enabled at a
fajne.
time, but the
Zamiast
effects are quite
potek,
conditional, so you may want to
bo
have
jest
more
dużo
than one
buildów,
equipped
które na
and swap
przykład nie
between them
używa
during
wszystkich
combat.
slotów, nie? Na potki, bo je jakieś w dziwny sposób łączy czy
For
coś.
example, equip the Ironwood Tincture to gain the benefit of always stunning enemies on full life.
Always stun on full life.
Tinctures can also get random mods.
Okej.
This one in particular
A
adds
to nie
stacks
działa
of
na
wither to
bossy,
targets
nie?
on full life and steals frenzy charges on hit, which makes it great as an initiator.
A właśnie pytanie, czy to będzie na
When you are
kasterskie
fighting
buildy
rare monsters
działało.
or finishing off tough bosses, you will want to swap to the Oak Branch Tincture, which grants Culling Strike, increased damage against enemies on
Culling
low
Strike na
life, and has
podce,
a
ale
chance to steal a
co?
mod from rare enemies you kill.
Często steal
You
mod.
can buy more tinctures from the Warden of Eves using Primal Wisps when you
Headhunter
find her
na
in the
tym,
forest,
Essa.
so keep an eye out for her. As a Warden of the Magi gains more Ascendancy points, they gain access to more skills that let them further specialize in tinctures. For example, Nature's Concoction allows you to invest in having your tinctures enhance your flasks. This Ascendancy skill makes it important to think about which slots your tinctures are placed in, and what flasks they are adjacent to. You will have better uptime on those flasks and they'll be stronger as a result. But there are plenty more skills to choose even if you don't want to engage with tinctures. For example, another new ability to unlock is Barkskin. It's a reservation
jakiś
skill
mod
that
też
causes
jest,
bark to
nie?
grow all over your body, increasing armor.
Okej,
As you take
nice.
damage, the bark falls off, increasing your evasion. Over time, the bark will grow back.
No to jest power creep
Removing the
mocny,
evasion
no, ten
bonus, but
sezon.
increasing your
Bardzo
armor
silny.
again.
Ej, a tatuaże z
The
poprzedniego
Breaker of
sezonu
Oaths can
zostają,
teach you
nie?
to become a Warlock of the Mists, an Ascendancy class
No
specializing in the
tatuaże
darker
były
arts of the
strasznie
Esmeri.
przygięte, już mam wrażenie. Warlock, pokaż sam Warlock. Nie, nie ma, aha,
One
dobra,
powerful
tatuaży
ability
nie
you can
będzie.
choose is Blood Hunt, which grants an active skill called Ravenous.
Co robi Ravenous, ale to
This
jest
skill lets you
aktywny
see
skill.
what type a monster is under its life bar, whether it is a demon, beast, undead, construct, or humanoid. Consuming a corpse with this skill gives a buff to damage against that type of monster, and reduces damage taken by it. You can only have one type active at a time, so it's a good
Nie
idea to
kupuję
choose
tego
wisely for the
w
area
ogóle.
that you are
W
in.
sensie, no na farmienie konkretnych
Some
mapek
bosses like the
pewnie.
Maven are eldritch in nature and don't conform to the regular corpses that you have access to. But don't worry. The Breaker of Oaths has a shop where you can trade wild wisps for corpses that you can place on the ground
Będzie
wherever
można
you are.
kupić sobie Eldritcha i mieć bonus
Buy an
damage
Eldritch corpse and
i
you will be
minus
able to
damage
get the
taken
bonus
od
while
bossów.
fighting eldritch
Essa.
entities like the Maven.
Pa.
You may notice that most of the corpses he sells are not monsters you normally
To
encounter.
niezłe. To
You
na
might want to
bossing to
try turning
podstawa
some of
chyba
these
będzie,
corpses into
co?
specters to take advantage of some of the unique abilities that these monsters have.
Spektry można z tego robić, ale essa. O chłopie.
The Warlock
Ty, ja
of the
chyba
Mists
sam
gets
Monero robię
access
na
to
Next
many
Ligę.
other abilities. For example, there is a trio of curses that you can pick from.
Ej, patrzcie ile to jest w ogóle aktywnych skilli nowych dorzucone, nie?
One of
Oni
these curses
najechali na
targets your
6 i
minions,
6 było aktywnymi
giving them life
skillami.
regen and making them explode for massive damage when they are near death. One of them prevents
Unstable-
enemies from dealing
nie
damage
pamiętam,
for the
jak się
latter
nazywało.
portion of its duration, which is quite powerful against bosses.
Unstable
This curse
minions, nie
creates the
wiem.
interesting build decision of whether or not you should increase curse duration or reduce it. The final curse is a mark that causes enemy phantasms to be spawned when you hit the marked enemy. These phantasms aren't on your side,
Nienawidzę
so they work
markowania w
well with
hack and
on-hit
slashach.
and on-kill
Nienawidzę.
trigger effects, for example. The Primal Huntress can teach you to become a wild
Ej,
witch
właśnie,
primalist.
ciekawe czy będzie można kupować to i na
Unlike
Detonate
the
Deada
other
to
new
postawić.
ascendancies, the Primal Huntress lets you customize your tree.
Charm sokety ma.
You do this with charms that you can buy from the Primal Huntress for
Pokaż
vivid
sobie
wisps.
czarmy. Cannot
Charms
take
have randomly
reflect.
generated mods, which give stats from regular ascendancy classes, allowing you to create your own hybrid ascendancy class.
Okej.
Charms are magic items that are aligned with different attributes. So, for example, this Ursine charm is strength aligned
to-
and has gotten the melee hits have a chance to fortify stat from the champion, and the ability to stop your movement speed going below base from the Juggernaut. This interlined Corvine charm lets you get the stat that makes your consecrated ground effects linger from the Inquisitor, and the effect that makes cursed enemies explode from the Occultist. Some of the combination of mods that you might
To
find for
najbardziej
sale on charms can
modyfikowalna
be extremely
ascendancja
powerful.
będzie.
So keep a lookout for the Primal
Pytanie,
Huntress's
patrz!
shop, even if you are not playing as a Primalist.
Endurance
As a
per
Primalist,
chargesy,
you also
tego
get
typu
access to a
rzeczy.
few other interesting
Pytanie,
abilities.
czy to będą jakieś cannot be frozen, cannot be
Use
stunned,
Warcries
nie?
next to corpses and they have a chance to drop an extra item. It opens nearby chests too.
O!
The Primalist also
Do tej
gets
jednej
access to a
mapki.
small extra backpack, just in case you find yourself needing to cart more items to town during your map runs.
Ta, bonus backpack.
If you are
Kostka
unhappy with the
Horadrium,
class you
stary.
picked, or you just
Ukradnięty
happen
z
to find
D2.
a really great item for another one of the classes, you are able to change which class you are using next time you find one of the Asmiri Wanderers.
Okej, czyli
Just
całkiem
remember that
łatwo
you will
się
have
to
to do
zmienia.
their quests in order to gain the ascendancy points for that class. These quests will lead you towards the ultimate goal of the Asmiri,
Wolałbym chyba jakby
finding
się
the
to
king in the
tymi
mists, defeating him, and cleansing the forest of
regretami
its affliction
restartowało,
once
nie?
and for all.
Ale whatever.
There are new uniques to find, rewards to claim, and new ascendancy classes to master in the Affliction League. Now that we've covered what's in the League, let's talk about some of the changes you can expect to the core game in 3.23. For a start, Ultimatum is finally going core. When talking to players at ExileCon, it was the #1 feature that people requested.
Czyli, że wraca na stałe,
When
tak?
playing through
Jakieś
in-game
rozwiązanie
maps, you may
ligowe.
sometimes encounter
Ja
the
nie
trial
znam go.
master, who offers
Ale
you a
rozumiem,
choice
że
to
wraca
undertake a deadly
do
Val
po prostu
trial
cora
in
gry
exchange
Jesta.
for great rewards.
Nie wiem, na czym ona
If
polega.
you defeat the trial, he offers to go double or nothing with you. Do you take the risk and go for an even better
Aha,
reward?
okej.
Or do you take the winnings you have already earned off the table and go home? We've done a full rebalance of Ultimatum and have
Gameplaycik
added
taki
many new mods
zamknięty.
and rewards, including both new and reworked uniques. The base number of
Okay.
rounds for an Ultimatum
Ale
trial
modów,
is
no.
now always 10, with a chance to spawn the
I masz
trial
high
master
risk,
boss
high
fight on
rewards,
the
nie?
10th round, if you are able to make it that far. As part of 3.23, we have also removed Metamorph from the game. All the Catalyst rewards from Metamorph have now been moved to be rewards for Ultimatum. We have also added a new Val-themed catalyst that works on corrupted items. As is normal for most content that gets added to endgame, we have introduced new Ultimatum passive skills to the Atlas tree. One great
Atlas się
example is the
rozrósł.
Keystone Grueling Gauntlet. It makes ultimatums last 3 extra rounds, but you cannot choose the modifiers, and it prevents the final Trial Master boss fight from spawning. The level of challenge becomes extreme during the last 3 rounds, and not being able to choose the modifiers makes it even harder. But the rewards are insane, and for those with very high-end
Czyli
characters,
Uber
it might be a
Ultimatum
bet
taki
worth
trochę
making.
będzie.
There are lots of other Atlas passive skills you can pick from for Ultimatum, so choose wisely. Now, it's time to talk about one of the largest metagame changes we've ever made. There were 3 systems in Path of Exile that were all
Laby
trying to subtly
wywalają.
modify the behavior of skills. These were alternate quality gems, Labyrinth Helmet enchants, and unique threshold jewels. We've combined all of these together to create a new system called Transfigured Gems that allows us to fully achieve the goal of these 3 systems and then some. Transfigured Gems are alternative versions of existing skill gems that have different functionality and balance from their regular versions. We have added a huge
Ale
number
fajny
of these
build
with
podługi
interesting variations
latające.
that drastically change how existing skills play. For example, Frostbomb of Instability. It changes it from a cooldown skill that you can cast occasionally for a large explosion into a skill that you can cast continuously but deals less damage and doesn't apply cold exposure. It changes the role of Frostbomb from a utility skill into a main damaging skill. Another example is Detonate Dead of Scavenging. You can't use it on corpses that were created by Desecrate or Unearth, but in exchange it does a whole lot more damage. You won't be able to use it as your main reliable source of damage, but it's a great skill to use as a 4-link utility to get some extreme burst damage. Raise Zombie of Falling. Instead of raising a zombie from a corpse, you summon them from mid-air. They fall to their death, dealing AoE damage when they land. While this sounds like a physical damage version of Firestorm, you should consider that it scales with minion damage and also triggers on-death minion effects. Blight
Ty,
of
będzie
Contagion.
bardziej kasterski zombie build,
This version of
Summoner.
Blight is now spread by Contagion, so you can use it as part of your Essence Drain build. We have a huge number of these. Transfigure Firestorm into Firestorm with Meteors, Transfigure Blade Trap into Blade Trap of Greatswords, Transfigure Barrage into Barrage of Volley Fire, and so on. There is a lot to experiment with, and we look forward to seeing what builds you can come up with. But how do you get Transfigured Gems? The Divine Font at the end of the Eternal Labyrinth has been changed to a gem crafting device that can modify your skill and support gems in a lot of new ways.
Nie!
One
Włączyli
of the
to z
options you can now
labami.
choose is to turn a skill gem into one of 3 transfigured gems. But
Ty, no
that
dobra,
isn't
ale
all the
co z
Divine Font
tymi?
can do. It has a lot of other gem crafting options you can
A
use.
co z
For example, you can
upgrade'ami na
add quality
itemy
to
z labów?
gems, add experience to gems, sacrifice a gem for 1 or more treasure keys to open Azaros chests, and you can even exchange support gems for exceptional support gems like Empower or Enlighten. These are just some of the options you'll find the Divine Font is now capable of. In order to replace the rewards in Heist that previously gave alternate quality gems, we have done a rebalance of the rewards of Heist as well. Experimented base types have been rebalanced. New replica uniques have been added and old ones changed, and we have increased the amount of currency from display cases as well.
Czemu z labami to musieli
On top of
połączyć?
this, we have
Ludzie
gone through and buffed the
nienawidzą
quality
labów.
stats on most damage dealing skills. In most cases, they will be significantly more powerful than before, and also more interesting. Overall, this is one of the largest metagame shifts that we've ever done. There are so many crazy new skill combinations to plan around, so we expect to see some really interesting new builds. Next up, I'd like to hand back over to Chris to talk about the new supporter packs.
At this point, we'd usually talk about the League supporter packs. We're doing things a bit differently this year. Rather than releasing League supporter packs today and then our
Dobra,
annual
supporter
core packs
packs
2 weeks
jest dalej,
later,
widzowie.
we've combined it all together
Chyba
into a
wszystko, nie?
strong
Z
set
takich
of core
rzeczy, które
supporter
mieliśmy
packs that will
obejrzeć.
be released alongside Path of Exile Affliction next week. The series contains 5 packs, each with its full value in points and a collection of exclusive
Obserwowanie.
cosmetic microtransactions. The higher packs contain physical merchandise. We'll unveil the full details of each of the packs at release next week, but in the meantime, here's a sneak peek of some of their exclusive cosmetic microtransactions. These packs will be available for purchase when Path of Exile Affliction launches on the 8th of December.
Co jest widzowie
Thank you
dalej
so much
w
for your
tym,
ongoing support.
w planie?
We're just about to start the Q&A with Ziggy D. Afterwards, we'll post Path of Exile Affliction's full patch notes. With the release at the end of next week, our community team will be posting crucial information you'll need for Affliction's release. Keep an eye on the news. On release weekend, we expect to launch the new mystery box and this season's Kirik's Vault Pass. Thanks for joining us today and checking out our latest developments. We're looking forward to exploring the Viridian Wildwood with you next week. We'll begin the Q&A shortly, so please get your questions ready.
Dobra, widzowie, chcecie oglądać Q&A, czy przechodzimy na Wowika?
game,
Dobra,
work with
widzowie,
other
Wowik
classes
i
and
to
builds,
przytłaczająco
so it's
nawet
mainly
wygrał, totalnie przytłaczająco. No to zajebiście.